I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. What do you want to hear first? Let's start with the good news. The good news about the good news, the gospel. The good news is this. If you were to look at the college campuses of America today and ask yourself this, how is God's kingdom doing? Is God's kingdom growing? Is God alive and well on the college campuses of America? You know what the answer would be? The good news is the answer resoundingly is yes. Yes, absolutely. Groups like Crew, InterVarsity, Navigators, Baptist Student Union, RUF, FCA, students are doing well. God's ministry to college students has never been better than it is right now. That's good news. I mentioned there's some bad news. If we looked at the university as a whole, but then narrowed our focus down and said, okay, on the university campus, who are the single most strategic people to reach with the gospel? A very compelling case could be made that the most strategic people to reach with the gospel are grad students. Next week, when you go off to your doctor's office and you see your doctor, you're gonna see a whole bevy of medical professionals before you get to your doctor. And you know where all of those medical professionals were before they ended up in your doctor's office? That's right, they were in grad school. Next month, when you go off to vote and you go to the polls and you're going to vote for somebody, do you know what you'll find? 70% of the men and women in Congress hold graduate degrees. Where were these leaders of America before they were making decisions pertinent to your life and mine, when they were making decisions for our country? That's right, they were in grad school. I have grade school age children. And when I send my daughter off to college and she sits in her initial Biology 101 class and she sits under a professor who's gonna shape her young mind and how she looks at biology, I know that that professor of tomorrow is in grad school today. If we narrowed our focus and said, who are the single most strategic people at the university to reach with the gospel, the answer would come back, or a case could be made, that it's grad students. Here we have the single most strategic people at the university, and at the same time, we have one of the most underserved populations in America. In fact, George Barna feels so strongly that he said that the American grad student is the single most underserved, unreached people group in America today. Did you catch that? George Barna identifies grad students as an unreached people group. When we look out at the spiritual reality, that if we combined Navigators, InterVarsity, Crew, and all these groups, and we looked at the hundreds of thousands of college students involved in those ministries, in the thousands of full-time ministers, and we looked and we said, okay, now how many of those thousands of people are actually focused on reaching grad students? We'd find this tiny fraction that George Barna calls an unreached people group. We, as the Christian Grads Fellowship, cannot stand idly by. We cannot watch this spiritual reality unfold before us and do nothing. We are the Christian Grads Fellowship, and we invite you, we encourage you. Would you join us? Would you join us as we bring the heart and the mind of Jesus Christ to grad students everywhere?